He's a real live action hero, and I've shared that with Brad. To others, he's an icon, a living legend. But I think to Brad, the title of his book, My Men Are My Heroes, says it all about this man. I think he sees himself purely as a believer in our way of life, a defender of liberty, an American fighting man, a United States Marine.
When General Myatt called me to come up here, I rearranged everything because I was not going to miss this event. So it's really great to be here, and thanks for having me. I'm truly honored and humbled. Before I begin tonight, I would like to say a few thanks to some key people, General Johnston, General Myatt, of course, Sergeant Major Frank Pulley, who I've known for quite a while, and understand, I hope I'm accurate, if there's some Gold Star parents in the audience. Thank you for what you do and what your sacrifices have been, because several of my Marines who I have lost, who I still remember daily, the parents of those individuals are just awesome people. But as we are gathered here tonight, and we take this time tonight for reunions of individuals who served in Iraq and Afghanistan, I'd like to mention up front and recognize that the service of all branches, as our soldiers, our sailors, our airmen, and our Marines have all contributed and made sacrifices over the past 16 years of war. But understand, as a Marine, of course, that's where my general knowledge and experience is. While I'm going to try to address everyone, it'll be Marine-centric. And to be honest, when I got called to attend this event, I thought long and hard about what to say. What can I say to this audience that would do proper justice? It's important to point out up front that our service individually is about more than just the time each of us has served. I believe there are veterans of many generations that are here this evening. World War II, anyone? Okay, thank you. Korea, thank you, sir. To all the Vietnam veterans, a big thank you that you should have received many decades when you came home. To the Desert Storm veterans, veterans of the Cold War and who served even in peacetime, who did not serve during conflict, and of course, most recently, our VIPs that we're recognizing tonight, all the veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan. And we have today's generations of warriors. Today's generations who are either deployed, as I just send several units off, farewell, who are going over to the Middle East and over to the PACON area. And we have generations who are preparing to deploy, and generations who are supporting those who are deployed. For all the generations who have ever worn this cloth, we are always related. And when it comes down to it, there's really only one thing that I can say that would bring proper recognition to this audience, and that is simply thank you. Thank you for your service to country. Thank you for all you've done. And thank you for doing what many would not. And as I continue this evening, for those of you who've served as a Marine, I'd like to update you a bit on the current status of our Corps. For those who've served in other branches, you're going to get an update on the Corps anyways. But several things that I mentioned, all of us have in common as I speak about operational tempo and the effects of sequestration, etc. And as most of you know, our nation right now is arguably at one of its most challenging and critical periods. We face a growing national security threat as we encounter 5 key national challenges: deterring the aggressive behavior of a resurgent Russia and a rising and modernized China, containing the dangerous and unpredictable North Korean regime, neutralizing Iran's malign influence in the Middle East, and defeating ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and other manifestations of violent extremism. Additionally, against a peer or near-peer threat, we understand we must now deal with 5 domains: air, sea, land, cyber, and space. We have to be prepared today to fight tomorrow's fight and what may come 10, 20, 30 years down the road. And in doing so, our first and most critical response to these 5 challenges is our people, our most important resource. For standing between the American citizens and these threats that I just mentioned are the world's finest army, the most capable Air Force, the largest Navy, and 182,000 carnivorous, meat-eating Marines and Navy corpsmen ready to fight. As we are gathered this evening, members of every branch are forward deployed. In the Middle East, we have Marines and corpsmen and soldiers deployed in the middle of bad guy country, killing bad guys. And if anyone in the future decides to pick a fight, today's generation of warriors are ready and they are able to punch them in the face. These young warriors today have taken a torch that you have passed on, and they will not let you down. The American fighting man and woman, we fight for that beautiful red, white, and blue piece of cloth, for a document named the Constitution, for freedom, and mostly for each other. And it starts with the oath that we swear to support and defend. An oath made not to a flag or to a piece of ground or ethnically distinct people, but to a set of principles established in our founding documents. We, the American warrior, are all volunteers, and we fight of free will. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever we face, it'll be their worst day. I'd like to close and leave you with this. For the rest of each of your lives, no matter where you go, whatever you do, be proud. Be proud to be Americans, and be proud of your time in the service. For often, we take things for granted. I know I did back in 2004, as I served with some incredible people. And I remember later recovering in the hospital. 3 hot meals a day, clean linen, while the Marines I left were still fighting. I remember feeling guilty and missing them. But for everyone, inevitably, life moves on and time goes by. The Marine Corps, or our time in the service, and our time on this planet in life is like a train. At some point, you get on it. And you can't control where the train goes, but you can control what you do while you're on that journey. You can choose whether you sit next to someone that has despair and you follow their example, or you make all kinds of choices along this journey. Every day you wake up, you make a choice. You make a choice to put on your best foot forward, to have the right or the wrong attitude, to work hard or to cut corners. Every day is a choice. And this thing that we call service, which I call a wonderful opportunity, is a journey. Enjoy it. Because one day, as many of you know, we got to take this off. And we no longer get the opportunity to wake up every morning and be surrounded by our brothers and sisters. And we go off, and now you're here. Use the things that the Marine Corps and the other branches and your services taught you, those honor, courage, and commitment, and those character skills to help you become successful out in the community and where you're at. When I first found out where we were headed, I was not for it. I'm just being honest. But it was not because of women going in the infantry. It was because of being forced to do it for political reasons. But I'll tell you, I have changed. I have changed because, one, I've seen what these exceptional young ladies do. I've seen the training that they go through, and how could we ever, even for a minute, look down on or discourage or not have respect for anyone who wants to serve their country, first and foremost. Anyone who wants to serve this great nation, how could we do anything but respect the world out of them? And then someone who wants to go to a field and carry a heavy pack and do the things that living an infantryman does, because it's not an easy life, and spend 4 years, how could we not have respect for that individual? Now, while some maybe not make it, some males do not make it. But the fact that we have an American who volunteers to go do that, how could we not have nothing but respect? And when it all comes down to it, they are going to do the same standards. They're going to pass the same tests. They're going to have to do the same requirements. And if they can do it and they can do the job, when I go through that door, all I care about is, can I trust her? That's it. I don't care what gender. I don't care what color. I don't care anything except, can I trust that individual? That's all that matters. As a Marine, the only thing you should ever see when you look out amongst a crowd of fellow Marines is 3 colors, red, white, and blue. That is it. Everything else, everything else is not important. Can they do the job? Can you trust them? And God bless them for wanting to do it. That's how I truly feel today.